Live from Toledo, 13 Action News starts now.
And we begin tonight with a mother's plea for justice after her teenage son with developmental disabilities died unexpectedly. We brought you that story last week.
That's right. And first responders found Ethan Kleinhans tangled in a harness in the back of a transport van. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. Tonight, one caregiver is speaking out, telling his side of the story.
13 Action News reporter Alexandria Manthe standing by live in studio with the latest new at 11.
Yes, this caregiver tells me it was his 10th day on the job, and he says he wasn't properly trained. He didn't want to go on camera, but he did want to tell his story.
This is the worst thing that ever happened to me.
Ethan Kleinhans died from asphyxiation due to neck compression after he was tangled in a harness in the back of a transport van in March. His former ViaQuest caregiver says Kleinhans was fitted for a new harness just 2 days prior.
The day of the incident, me and my coworker both asked him about 5 times to assist us with it because we had never got trained.
The Lucas County coroner ruled Kleinhans' death a homicide. The coroner's reports say he was unsupervised in an improperly sized vehicle safety harness. But this caregiver tells us he was with Kleinhans in the van the whole time. He says they were with another caregiver on a drive that day. They made a stop to grab food from the other caregiver's relative's house on Hallgate Street in Toledo. He says the other caregiver got out to run inside the house. He claims Kleinhans was fidgeting and whining, but because of his condition, the caregiver said it wasn't out of the ordinary. But when the other caregiver came back to the van, they knew something was wrong.
And he was blue, drooling, slumped over.
He says he called his manager immediately, who told him the seatbelt cutter was in the glove box.
Grabbed it, it was still brand new in the plastic, never been used. I ripped all the plastic off of it, the container off of it, threw it in the street. I hopped back in there. I cut my side off.
He says he called 911 and first responders arrived moments later. The caregiver says he was suspended indefinitely from ViaQuest.
And like I tried to do everything I could, and like this all blew up in my face. Like if I had only been there 10 days and I didn't put him on that harness, you know what I'm saying? Like, how was this my fault? How are they blaming me?
I reached out to ViaQuest to ask if the caregivers were trained on how to operate the new harness and if they could confirm that a caregiver was with Kleinhans at all times. They responded saying they couldn't comment further as this is an ongoing investigation. Christian.
Alex.